You're watching Gator Bytes, your weekly podcast on the Florida Gators, presented by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. Here are your hosts, Ryan the Hacker Green and former Gators basketball star, Patric Young.
And welcome into Gator Bytes on the 1010XL.com podcast network, also being simulcast on the Florida Gator 1010XL Facebook page. Today's Gator podcast is brought to you by Southeast Orthopedic Specialists. For the highest quality care, you can rely on Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for any orthopedic injury or concern. He is Patric Young. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green, as we welcome you into another edition of Gator Bytes. Patric, how we doing, man?
I'm doing great, man. It's living the dream. I'm actually here in the new 1010 building, which I haven't had a chance to. And yeah, man, this is great.
Look, the word great goes into what Florida did on Sunday in that victory over Alabama. Now, we'll preview Texas A&M. We'll talk big picture. But Patric, as a big man that played at the University of Florida, when you saw Handlockton, Hauk, Condon, and Chinyalu completely dominate a rival like that to the tune of 72 points in the paint last week, what was your reaction as you were watching that?
Well, it's unbelievable. And it's I think what's so ironic, you look at Alabama's style of play and how many three-pointers they get up. I think they lead this year with about 35 attempts per game. So obviously they're wanting to be a high-scoring team. I mean, just how incredible you can get 100 points with only 3 made threes just shows you how incredible this front court is. And especially, there was some added motivation to this game of beating Bama, having Charles Bediako on their sideline, which I think actually today is the date that they go to court. So we get to see if he is going to continue or if it's going to be over.
Yeah, we'll see. There'll be a lot of clarity on that one way or the other. And, you and I talked about this on Monday night when you joined me on Hacker After Dark, and I certainly appreciate you doing that. But for the Gator Bytes audience, that was a Florida team that was fired up, man. Obviously, they had taken note of their head coach going out there publicly and talking about his displeasure with the Charles Bediako situation. And that was a Gator team that looked like they had a chip on their shoulder. And they played a very, very fired-up game last Sunday.
Yeah, I mean, they held Fineline to 14 points, and he's the leading scorer. It was the one possession where Ruben is guarding Fineline and guarding Right Cell is pretty incredible because I was saying it's not just that he has the ability to do so, is that he wants to do it. He wants you to think, now that you're switched up on me, that you have the advantage, and Ruben's like, no, I have the advantage. And but also we're going to go without in regards to that game. Auburn, and that I think another thing for Alabama, like they were healthy. They had dealt with some injuries this year, and they were healthy, and they still got beat by 23 points. But this Gator team is definitely heading in the right direction. I don't know if Mike Handlockton's gotten that much better from last year, but he's enough for this team with where it's at. And then the guards, Boogie has definitely improved. Everyone can see that and acknowledge it. But Xavier Lee, he's kind of, I was saying yesterday, Dan, I was like, I don't think they're going to, like, Xavier Lee would lose us a game, but I don't think that he's going to win a game. He did knock down a big shot against Vanderbilt, but when has he hit another big shot since then?
Mm-hmm. I want to talk about the backcourt more in a moment, but quickly back to Chinyalu. You were the last Gator to win SEC Defensive Player of the Year, I believe, back in 2014. I think Chinyalu is going to be joining you with some hardware here coming up in a month or so. Your game compared to his game, and when I saw Chinyalu out there guarding, it looked very Patric Young-esque last Sunday.
Yeah, that is something for sure. I would say he and I both have in common. Like I embraced when I get switched on to a guard or just having that ability to let them think like you don't have an advantage. Like I want this. I'm not afraid to be guarding you because there's a lot of big guys, like they are fearful when they have to switch out. And I would say that's a similarity Ruben and I have. We got to be real, man. He was a better free throw shooter. He's a better rebounder. I might be a better offensive player than he is, but with how much he's improved and grown, who knows how much longer that can be a statement? Because, he's doing running hooks. He's knocked down a jump shots here and there. Not a 3-point shooter, not yet. Maybe that can happen for him one day. But, and I always say this too, like Ruben, he's a national champion, like he's already special. It was just a matter of time for him to unlock his ability. And now I think he has played himself into an NBA roster. Like compare him, and Dan had this, Mitchell Robinson. Can he not be Mitchell Robinson on the Knicks? Absolutely. He could 1000% be him. He could be Mitchell. He could be maybe not as athletic as the guy with the Cavs that has the Jared Allen.
Oh, Jared Allen, yeah.
Not
$20 million guy, Jared Allen.
Similar role, though. Similar role. Shot blocker, defend, dunk on people. Be physical. That's it.
Donnell Harvey was a first-round pick doing that. Now, it did not work out for him in the NBA, but he was a first-round pick. Quickly, Colin Hartman, the big man coach, I guess is how he's labeled.
Oh, yep.
He's going to be a head coach again sooner rather than later with what he's doing with Chinyalu and that front court, correct?
Yeah, without a doubt. And, I think it just shows how much trust Coach Golden has in the bigs and the Coach Hartman because, Coach Golden, if it was all only up to him, he would not focus on having the bigs do the high-low passes and coordinate. Like he is the kind of guy that likes a lot of threes and had to make an adjustment, of having a front, like last year's team. That's more what Coach Golden wants. Like, absolutely, the front court was good, but they were the supporting cast to the back court. And now things have switched, but that just goes to show coaches having the ability to adapt, as Coach Golden has, and his ability to still continue to try to get better and improve. And also, like, hiring the right guys on your staff that can have, if things change, they're ready to adapt as well. And you've got to tip your hat to the development of Ruben, the unlocking of Thomas Houck in this new position, and now this reemergence, I would say, of Alex Condon, because for a second, I think he struggled with the expectations. I think he has. And, he gets double teamed a lot. He probably arguably you could arguably say he's the best player. He just has not had as many opportunities as Thomas Houck has, but Thomas Houck has an unbelievable motor. I don't think Condon has an unbelievable motor like that. So, but either way, it's fun basketball to watch. And all these guys seem to really love each other and play for each other. When you have strength like that, you have to watch out. That's why I'm so interested in we'll talk about in a second, this matchup on Saturday.
Southeast Orthopedic Specialist brings you Gator Bytes here on the podcast, the 1010XL Podcast Network. He is Patric Young. I'm the hacker, Ryan Green. For the highest quality care, go to Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for any of your orthopedic injuries or concern, and check out their website, se-ortho.com. And we certainly appreciate the great folks at Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for their continued support here of the Gator Bytes podcast. Quickly, Patrick, before we talk about the A&M game, Urban Klafshar is starting to play a lot more. And dare I say, he might be starting to get a few, not all, but a few of Xavier Lee's minutes. Do you see that as well?
I see it, man. And I don't think it's obviously it's not personal, but it's what Klafshar brings better shooting out there on the court. He plays hard. He's proven he's not a liability and that he can run the offense. Or when the bigs are playing super well, it makes his job easier because then they have to account for the bigs so much. That's why what game was it? He had 5 or 6 threes a few games back, is because the opportunities that he normally has to work so hard to get are presented. And with his ability to score and Xavier's struggle, he's not going to get as many minutes. Xavier, he's going to lose some minutes to Klafshar, and Klafshar has earned them. He really has. He is doing all the right things. He's knocking down shots. He's defending. Obviously, he's a smaller guy. I think he's 6'1", 6'1", in comparison to Xavier Lee, that's 6'4". But Lee just doesn't have that physicality that you quite look for. If you don't need to be as physical if you're making a bunch of shots, though. I'll tell you that.
Right.
You sure
Well,
don't. No
that's
one's
the
supposed to
thought.
be physical when you're knocking down.
When you have Klabsar out there, I guess the thought is he's a defensive liability sometimes, but I don't sense that as much as people talk about it. I think he's okay on the defensive end.
So far, he's been all right. Yeah, I mean, I think let's see what happens when, like this A&M game will be interesting because they play with so much energy and they play 11 guys and they switch and everyone comes in bringing 1,000%. So, it'll be interesting to see how the Gators handle the press. A&M's press didn't look very effective against Alabama. They only 6 turnovers for the whole game for Alabama. So I expect to see, especially at home, A&M's press is going to be very intense. So really keep your eyes on Boogie, Lee, and Klabchar as they're trying to break that thing this weekend. But yeah, no, it's going to be a good matchup coming up here, and it's really nice to see that even Isaiah Brown is broken his way into some minutes here. Hack, it seems like nobody was going to get some extra minutes. Like coach kept his rotation at 7, but now he's added a little bit more, which is nice to see.
I was concerned about 8 guys because you see a lot of teams around the country, 9, 10, even 11 guy rotations, only 8. Now, knock on wood, there hasn't been any injuries. The Florida Gators have been very, very lucky in that regard by not having injuries. But I guess with where we are in college basketball now, the TV timeouts every 4 minutes, particularly at the end of the half, they're going to the monitor every time, which
I
gets
don't get it,
annoying.
dude. You get challenges and appeals.
Yeah, it's
Like what?
crazy. But that sort of helps a team like Florida, I guess, Patrick, that only plays 8 guys because there are so many stoppages. Guys can get their rest without missing any game time.
Oh, 1,000%. Yeah, that is a great point. I'm wondering, how much more improved could I have been if I had a little bit more rest as these games are going on? Because you got your under 4 or your every 4 timeouts, but yeah, we did not have reviews like this, and it's killing the game, man. It really is. It's killing the momentum. I'm hoping that there's going to be change. Like if things that need to change, 4 quarters. Everybody wants 4 quarters. What's being held on to for having 2 halves? It's not going to take away from any advertisements or stoppages. It's just keep it the same. Just do it every 4 minutes. That's easy. Being able to advance the ball on a timeout. For opportunities to see some more game winners. I think that's I understand. Why are we giving the other team an opportunity? You would get the same opportunity. It's going to be equal playing ground for everybody.
The NBA already does that. Why has college basketball not adopted that? What you're talking about is,
and I want to see jump ball. I want to see an actual jump ball in college too.
Yeah,
because if you go back and look at the Alabama A&M game, A&M, it was 15 seconds left in the game. A&M presses. A jump ball is called at 5.1. So, like, you can't even say it was a 10-second violation, but it's a jump ball, goes back to Alabama, and they get a full clock again, a full 10 seconds. So with 5, they lost. Like, it was perfect. They stopped them. The ball got loose in the backcourt. They had a chance to win the game. So that's why I just don't, you like to see the ball get advanced there, but also an opportunity for a jump ball gets more creative. Why does, in the same way we talk about college football, like, hey, college football and college basketball, you want to go to the NFL? Why don't we implement the same NFL rules and NBA rules just so you're prepared for the next level?
No, it's a great point. Yeah, because, people rip the NBA. I'm a big NBA fan. I love the NBA. And there's certainly some flaws with the NBA, but yeah, they advance the ball to half court if you have a timeout. If somebody right now in college hits a shot with 2 or 3 seconds to go, the game's over because you have to go 94 feet as opposed to being able to advance it to half court. I would like to see college change that. I really don't know why they haven't. All right, A&M tomorrow night in College Station. That's an SEC Network game, right? 8:30.
Is the SEC Network?
Or it might be ESPN. I don't know. It's on. Usually
It is an
8:30 is
SEC
kind of late for
network game because
ESPN.
you know what? I'm not sure if A&M got the respect they deserved coming into this season. Well, of course they had to earn it, but that's probably why. Let's see. Yeah, SEC network.
Yeah, because usually 8:30 is too late for ESPN on Saturday night. So that's a heck of a game that you guys will
Well,
have on the network.
they have Tennessee, Kentucky on ESPN.
Oh, yeah, I guess that makes sense. Why is A&M so good? What has Bucky McMillan done to change that culture there?
Well, it's a completely different style of play from what you've seen with Buzz Williams when he was at A&M these past 5 or 6 seasons. It's focused on the four quadrants is what Bucky will say. It's not just about the press and getting the ball up. They want to execute well in the half court defense and half court offense as well. But the first thing that jumps out to you is how hard they play, the intensity. It's always under control though. So as soon as a bucket is made, whether they score it or the other team scores it, like it is like the focus is literally to the next play. You know, you just scored on us. We are pushing the ball. We're going to be on the other side of the court with 27 seconds left to run our offense. Mm-hmm. Sometimes they do take bad quick ones. But most of the time, because they get so many possessions with the style of play that A&M has, they're going to get 80, 70 or 80 like possessions. They're going to get up there. So there's going to be bad shots within there because they get up so fast. But they run like the chaos is organized, if it makes sense. They'll get up there full speeds, but guys know exactly where they need to be to strive to get open shots. Rashawn Agee is the big guy that is behind Ruben Chinyulu in double-doubles and rebounding in the conference. So he's not anywhere close to as athletic and skilled as Ruben, but he's been a very good, solid player. And then, defensively from A&M, as soon as A&M is going to score, they're going to be right in that press.
Yeah.
So we're going to need a lot of relief from Alex Condon or Thomas Houck to come in and get that relief pass to get to the guards and strive not to catch the ball in the coffin corner. That stuff it drives me crazy. We all know it's the worst plot to catch the ball, and defenses like they try to egg you on to do it, and you still see point guards and two guards break to get the ball in that corner where you're dead. You're like the baseline, the sideline is against you, and you got two guys pressing you. So, anyways, A&M style, like they get to the free throw a lot. They shoot a lot of threes. They're very fast. They're third in the league in pace. So if you didn't watch that A&M Alabama game, the first 7 minutes of that game let you know how style of play. It was beautiful. I think they shot 69 threes in the game total.
Yeah, it was a big win for Alabama coming off getting blown out by Florida. And Florida hasn't played all week. They've had 6 days off. A&M did have to play that game on Wednesday. We'll get a prediction out of Patric Young in one moment against Southeast Orthopedic Specialist. Brings you the Gator Bytes podcast right here on the 1010XL.com podcast network. For the highest quality care, you can rely on Southeast Orthopedic Specialist for any of your orthopedic injury or concern. They got locations all over Jacksonville, St. Johns County as well. Go to se-ortho.com. And we certainly appreciate the continued support of Southeast Orthopedic Specialists for the Gator Bytes podcast right here on the 1010XL.com podcast network. Patrick, quickly, before we get a prediction, you mentioned Agee for A&M. Outside of him, they're not the biggest team. So on paper, one would think the Gator front court potentially could have another big game.
Yeah, they have this kid, Vincent, transfer. He had 9 points. He was pretty solid. He hit a three, he's a lob threat around the basket. Other than that, man, their offense, they play so spread out with a bunch of screens and movement away from the ball, with the ball. So our bigs they're going to win the rebounding battle, as the Gators do all the time. A&M's not a great rebounding team. Like Bama, part of the reason why Bama was dominating them, A&M, they go up and they shoot a bad shot. They're getting that. That's the one shot they get on that possession. They're not getting a lot of offensive rebound rebounding opportunities. The difficulty might be on the defensive side in terms of that movement and the communication that's required by the Gators. I don't think the matchups are an issue. It's just how much movement and execution of no one wants to play defense for 30 seconds, but A&M is a team that could make you do that. They can make you play defense for 7 seconds or 27 seconds. Either way, there's a great amount of discipline and movement and communication that's going to be required on the defensive end. Because again, those actions, it is an organized chaos. They're just trying to any way they can, A&M can get you confused or any advantage, they're going to try to take it. And even when they might seem out of control, there's plenty of times they just understand, all right, I'm driving to the basket. I'm not going to get a shot, but I know Rashawn Agee is going to be breaking down and I can hand him the ball. I can, Rylan Griffin, they're going to overhelp off the corner and he's going to be open. So, the Gators don't have the best 3-point defense in the world. So that's something that you really want to see early on. If they could hold A&M to 3 or 4 threes with 17 attempts in the first half, that's a great start because they're going to get them up.
It's a big game for A&M too, coming off that loss to Alabama. All right, first place in the conference on the line, right?
Yeah.
A&M 7-2, Florida 7-2. Really important 2-game stretch for Florida because after A&M in College Station, they go to Athens to play Georgia, and that'll be a huge game for the Dogs that they're going to need on Wednesday. So a very interesting 2-game road slate for Florida here. Beginning Saturday night, College Station. Tomorrow night, we'll have it on 1010XL. You'll be able to watch it on the SEC network. Patrick, who do you like between your alma mater and Texas A&M?
I think it's a pretty easy answer there. I think the Gators go on the road, and it's going to be a tough one because I just know the home field advantage is real. A&M's going to come out throwing haymakers. They're going to strive to turn them over. They average 8 steals a game, and I think they forced 14 turnovers, 15 turnovers. So I expect some chaos early, but for the Gators to settle in, really to dominate the paint, and I see a 10-point victory. 10-point victory on the road. Yeah,
I would love that. That would be a huge statement for Florida on the road. Again, Texas A&M tomorrow, and then Georgia next week. All right, leave us with this. What's Patric Young's plan for the Super Bowl tomorrow? Is there a get-together? Is there a food you have every year? What's kind of the plan for you?
Well, this will be the first year. I have a girlfriend now, and she, her family does this huge thing. They're on Kernan. They're by that Sprouts in Tamaya, and her dad loves hosting people. There's going to be 100 people at their house.
Wow.
So it's a little overwhelming, but I'm going to go just to see what it's like because I can't imagine that everyone's going to be posted up watching TV, but I'm going to certainly be watching the game.
Who do you like between the Patriots and the Seahawks?
Man, I want the Seahawks to win. I like Drake May though, man, and I can't like variable. I would like him if he wasn't at the Tennessee the Titans. I would like him. But he hurt us a lot in Jacksonville.
Yeah.
Back in the day, it hurt us a lot. Even on his departure, his last season, they beat us. I won't forget that game. So I really like the just whole dynamics and story of what it all means if Sam Darnold can win the Super Bowl. Right. Yes, Drake May is an outlier. I mean, even Drake May's first year, 4-13. Come on. And Sam Darnold just got drafted by a bad organization, and he fortunately took the time to sit behind someone in San Fran and had a great year in Minnesota and now having a great year with the Seahawks. So I like to see them come away with it. Darnold just seems like such a spectacular human being. Hard not to cheer for him.
My wife is a New England girl from Maine. I actually have her coming on my show tonight to break down the Patriots matchup. So you know where my rooting interest will be. I just hope for a very competitive game on Sunday, and I hope for a fun one in the fourth quarter. It's always fun when I get together with Patric Young, the 2014 SEC Defensive Player of the Year, also a former McDonald's All-American. Patric, enjoy the Gator game on Saturday. Enjoy Gators next week against Georgia. And we'll be back here next Friday to recap both on Gator Bytes. Thank you, my friend.
Sounds good. Thank you.